If Full Swing didn't make you break down in tears, did you even watch it this week? And if I can give you one piece of advice, it's wear sunscreen. Welcome to the Tavern. Yeah. I think he's back to form. He fell off a little bit last year, but he also was named Ryder Cup captain. Give me Steve Bradley! How's everybody doing tonight?
Trying to make sure I'm in the camera. What's going on?
But why? Does anybody really care if you're in the shot?
I was gonna say you have a face for Apple Podcasts.
Yeah,
so, we're on there now.
We are,
Spotify, yes, and Spotify. Hey, Steve. Really quick, I see you got some new headgear there tonight.
I do. Check that out. Bam. Me rocking that. Literally, I got it in the mail yesterday, and you may have seen the unboxing on our Instagram page. And came in the mail yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, that's going to match the shirt perfectly. I'm going to wear tomorrow for Bay Hill Week."
Which is the shirt you're rocking tonight.
It's the shirt I'm rocking tonight.
You're wearing the band of the concert you're going to.
Yes.
And funny,
like Jeremy Piven.
I don't know.
I was like, can someone quote what movie I just referenced there?
Yes. Yep.
Also, it's the Bay Hill. It's the Bay Hill Cup too. My pint glasses from Bay Hill.
Wow. I'm rocking the Harbortown.
You are rocking the Harbortown.
So had to go with that. How's everybody's weekend?
Mine was great when I got a lot in the mail the last couple of days. So between the our guest like tonight, Christmas? The sunblock, the sun, it was like Christmas. Dave got some Bridgestone golf balls in. I got our Golfish. I got a Golfish outfit that I'm going to wear tomorrow at Bay Hill. And then today, I'm going to tease it a little bit later, but I might as well show it off now too. There's an unboxing video that'll go up tomorrow morning, first thing. Bam. From our friends at Nikon.
Sponsor of Odds with Dave.
Odds with Dave, yes. Presented by Nikon, the official rangefinder of the LPGA Tour and the Golfing Tavern.
So we got that going for us.
Mm-hmm. No, we had a
hold on
weekend here.
I'm just gonna warn everybody. Craig from Towel Tag, his wife is out of town and he is watching the show. So
does his wife not let him watch the show? So only when she's out of town.
Comments could be unhinged tonight. The comments could be unhinged tonight. Let's go.
And if you don't know who Craig is the proud sponsor of Towel Tag.
Not the sponsor of Towel Tag. He is
the owner. He
is Towel of Towel Tag.
He is Towel of Towel
Tag.
Hey, let's get in the first round. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah, we do.
Are you always looking for a safe and accessible place to store your phone in your cart during a round of golf? Well, our friends at Desert Fox Golf have the perfect solution, the Desert Fox Phone Caddy. Just strap it to the cart window frame and you're all set. Also worried that you will miss your favorite podcast, The Golfing Dad's Tavern? They have a solution for that as well. Just add their DJ-10 speaker so you don't have to miss a minute of our show. Find these great products and more at desertfoxgolf.com.
Get your NCAA logoed merch for March Madness.
So speaking of March Madness, and Bradley, this is going to be the shameless plug again. Our friends at Desert Fox are running a March Madness contest right now. If you say you're a company like Mount Pleasant Chiropractic, here in town, maybe you already own one of your own phone caddies, but does it have your company logo on it? Send in your company logo to Jessica at Desert Fox Golf, Jessica at desertfoxgolf.com, and get entered into their 64-team bracket for a chance to win your own customized swing aid, phone caddy, and DJ-10 speaker from Desert Fox.
going to leave that here.
Yeah, we just put that on a bunch of times on there. So, but
it is a fun contest.
Yeah,
due to a conflict of interest, we will not be entering, so you will not have to compete with us.
Well, but here's the thing. One more shameless plug. Airport Road Vineyard is into the contest.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I'm voting for anybody else.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Anyone else?
If you have your logo, if you're the Orlando golfer and you want your logo on some Desert Fox stuff, enter your logo.
So with that, if you Netflix this week,
I'm just going to leave it at this. Hey, comment on Instagram, Dave, stay in your lane.
If you've been under a rock for the past 3 years, one of the biggest shows on Netflix has been Full Swing. And I watched it this week. And like I said in the intro, if episode 6 didn't bring you to tears,
or 7,
what the hell is wrong with you? Like at 6 and 7, you should have been just bawling your eyes out, especially if you are a golfing dad. I was losing it.
I'm going to say this. The first season of Full Swing kind of lost you at kind of the middle of it, would just kind of got bland.
I disagree with that. I thought it was good the whole way through. I don't know why you thought it was bland, but
yeah, after you got past the Joel Damon episode, it kind of was just like, it was all right. This season, they decided to swing for the fences on all 7 episodes.
Well,
between starting with the whole, you went through the PGA with Scotty and Rory announcing his divorce, and then them saying, "Oh, well, we thought it was good. We didn't think it would go away," and then the unthinkable happened, and they go into Scotty's arrest, which, if you watch again, still is the worst. It shouldn't have happened. I'm just going to leave it at that, and I'll be nice. And then you go into Bryson in the U.S. Open, which was great, and showing the side of Rory, and everyone was critical of Rory when he stormed off from the scoring area. And then you went into the caddy episode at East Lake, which was a great episode. Like the behind the scenes of the caddies and what they do on tour was a great episode. And then you just rolled it right into the tearjerkers.
Yeah. Well, and what I will say is that I disagree with you, Steve, on the first season, because I think the first season kicked it off. They had the luck of the whole Live and PGA Tour drama started in season 1, like when they were filming season 1. So like it took off from there. Season 2 kind of, I think, just didn't have as great of stories as season 1 did. But season 3, the comeback stories, the stories of Oshke, and obviously Gary Woodland was the one where you're just in tears, and then, oh, hey, we're going to double down on that and give you Camila Villegas and his family as well. And you're ending on such a note that it's one of those stories in sports where you just root for this person. You just want this person to overcome everything they've gone through and come out stronger on the other side. And this season was unbelievable for that. But like, they have great stories. I almost thought, like, going into this, and you probably thought this too, is that the Scotty story of being arrested and all of that was going to be the big story, because that's what went on. They talked about Rory's divorce and going through that, which is a very personal thing that, like, we shouldn't be reporting on that. That's a personal matter that we shouldn't be reporting on at all in sports. So any sports thing, you should not report on someone's personal life. It has nothing to do with them playing golf. And then they get to 6 and 7, and you have a flashback to season 2 with Keegan Bradley and the Ryder Cup. And now the President's Cup, and he makes the putt that clinches it, and they talk about him becoming the Ryder Cup captain. It almost makes it seem like the PGA Tour is scripted. I'm not gonna lie. Like, these stories were so good this year that I can't wait to see next year. But I don't know if it's going to live up to season 3.
But there are still some great storylines this year. Obviously, with what's gone on with the PGA Tour, the meetings with the president,
the Ryder Cup. We're going to have
the Ryder Cup. Next season. Obviously this year. What can Scotty do after last season is always a great story, and you can run down that anyway after the season he had last year. And then was it Christmas or New Year's where he broke a glass on his hand and decided that he was.
Do you think they were with him and filmed that? Because sometimes they're in their houses. Like, do you think they were at his? I think it was Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas. It was Christmas because it was going into the Kapalua. So,
I hope they were. I'm going to doubt it, but I hope they were. I think that when you look at what this has done, and we're sitting here, by the way, Dave, have you watched any of it yet?
Have you watched season 2 yet? You just need to catch up. We almost just had spoiler alert and like earmuffs.
Yeah.
Like,
I talk to you guys enough anyway. It's not like I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm not saying for you. I'm saying for our listeners at home.
The one episode that really, as dads, the two that got me as dads, between Gary Woodland talking about writing the letters to his kids.
That moment I lost.
Was literally like the hardest thing. And then when you run into Camilo and his wife, and I love how they tied that episode in with Keegan and Keegan's wife, because Camilo's wife and Keegan's wife are very close.
Well, like she was a maid of honor in her wedding.
Yeah. And so to have that and to have them in that episode together, and it worked very well because that was the episode they featured the President's Cup in, and Camilo was the vice captain of the President's Cup team. So it really tied in the President's Cup story, and I thought, man, that was so well done. I just really feel like Netflix hit it out of the park this time.
They really did, and like I said, if you haven't watched this yet, sorry for the spoilers, but go watch it. And when you get to episode 6, just be ready to just let all your emotions out.
I'm just gonna read the comment. It's from Craig. Boys, an outside question: who won the Four Nations Cup?
You won.
Steve, you want to answer? Steve, you want to answer that one because you had a little side bet there.
I did have a wager on the Four Nations Cup, and I will have to caddy.
We'll see you in the Olympics, Canada.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for that, Craig. Jerk.
Hey, we have locked up the President's Cup for years, so I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, Craig, can you want to talk about the President's Cup?
We'll see you. We'll see you in Italy. That's all I'm going to say. It's in Italy this year, right?
Yeah, I think it's where the Olympics.
I think it's in Italy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
but on another note, let's talk sunscreen. Craig, by the way, replied no comment to asking about the President's Cup.
Why?
Why not, Craig? It's our next guest tonight. I met for the first time face to face. We'd been in a text group before. I met him at the PGA show. Greg, you were actually setting up for our show when I met him, and he and I talked for. We were getting ready to go live at the show, and he stopped by our booth, stopped by the show floor booth, and we had a great conversation. And I actually left that meeting and said, man, I can't wait to have him on the show. It's why we kind of rushed this and got him on as quickly as we did, because as we start the swing through the Sunshine State, there is no better person to have on than somebody that can help you with that sunshine and protecting your skin. So welcome to the Tavern, Keith Merritt, president of Jacket Sunscreen. Do you need me to hit it?
I got it.
Hey,
there we go. Hey, Keith, how are you?
There we go.
Keith, thank you for joining us tonight.
Happy to be here. I appreciate you guys having me on, and on Mardi Gras Fat Tuesday too. So definitely.
There you go.
Great.
Love it.
As if we needed one at the tavern, we got one. So
yeah. So, Keith, welcome to the Tavern. Let's start with the simple question here. And as simple as it could be, what is Jacket Sunscreen?
Great question, Dave. But not as easy as it probably should be. I asked Steve. So first of all, it's the new face of sunscreen. All right, that's our tagline. There's my quick answer. The long answer, there truly is so much to say. I asked Steve earlier, I said, how long can I talk tonight? He said, talk as long as you want, but we're turning your mic off after 20 minutes. So I'm happy on that one. But the honest to God answer is, when I hear myself talk about it, it just sounds salesy because it almost sounds too good to be true. I understand that. But the reality is, it is a sunscreen that honestly has no competitors. And what I mean by that, it checks every box. It's a dermatologist developed sunscreen. It's maximum protection. It's SPF 50. It's water and sweat resistant up to 80 minutes, which is the maximum allowed by the FDA. They're the governing body of sunscreen in the US, if you didn't know. It's broad spectrum, which means it protects against both UVA and UVB rays. A lot of sunscreens can make those claims, but what makes Jacket different, truly different, is it's a patented formula that is proven. It's got a collective of natural ingredients, antioxidants, and other vitamins that are proven to fade dark spots and smooth, which there's no other sunscreen on the market that can make those claims. So what I'm telling you is, it's a performance sunscreen that protects as well as anything else on the market, if not better. But there's no sunscreen on the market that can do what this does. Yeah. Once we get bigger and people like you and others start telling our story, I'm sure everybody's going to try to rip us off, right? But for now, it truly is the only sunscreen in existence that can smooth wrinkles and fade dark spots. And we're in a world now where we got $245 billion. There it is, $245 billion anti-aging industry by the year 2030. So people care, about the vanity alone, wrinkles and dark spots, but also with the maximum protection and the performance. We're talking about protecting against much more serious things than premature aging. We're talking about skin cancer and other factors. So I can go on and on. I really could. The list of things that makes it different would take up the entire show. So, I don't want to filibuster here and just keep on going.
So, Keith, you are the president of Jacket. You said it was dermatologists created. How did you get involved with Jacket?
So I'll tell you how I got involved, because the funny thing is, I'm probably the last guy in the world that you would ever think would be involved in a sunscreen company. And the reason is, I never liked sunscreen. I always thought, I knew you needed it. I understood the importance of it, but I thought they were just gross, right? And they all felt greasy, sticky, oily. They smelled this, that, and the other. This is truly the first one that I came across that no joke, I put it on and could not even tell that I was wearing sunscreen. And I can tell you how I got involved, but if you wouldn't mind, I'll tell you even more importantly. So the dermatologist that created it is Dr. Thomas Balshi. And he's been a dermatologist and a cosmetic surgeon down in Delray Beach for over 20 years now. And back in about 2017, he just got dissatisfied with all the other options out there. And, doctors, they're a little bit smarter than the average guy. So he said, I'm done trying to find a better option. I'm going to create my own. So he did. He got a team of, I wasn't involved yet at this point, but, formulists and engineers and chemists and whatever that is. And his goal was to go out and create the perfect sunscreen. And what I mean by that was, he wanted to have the maximum protection, which it has, the ultimate performance, which it has, something that is lightweight enough that you could wear it every day as part of your skincare routine. So it's got to feel good. It's got to work. It's got to look good. It's got to check all those boxes. He wanted it to have the anti-aging properties because, again, we talked about the importance of that, and there's no other sunscreen that had it. So he wanted to come up with something that did that. And last but not least, and this is the one that got me, he wanted the comfort factor. He wanted something that you could truly put on a sunscreen and not even feel like you weren't wearing one. So really the goal is to eliminate all the excuses for not wearing sunscreen, because the reality is 7 billion people on the planet, all of us need it. The sun's not getting weaker. It's too big to fail, right? If the sun goes out, we all got bigger problems than this. So he got on it. Now, how did I get involved? So I worked for about 17, 18 years in the advertising business, and I had went and worked for, so actually we backtrack. So he finally got this this formula created, and he really just wanted it for himself and his family. He had no intention of going into business with this. Very successful medical practice. This was really just something that he wanted for himself and his family, some close friends, kind of one of those deals, you know, say he did it. So he finally got it approved. The FDA signed off on it and all that, gave him the patent. He's got the patent on the formula. So then he said, okay, let me go ahead and get, you know, a few bottles. And they said, well, it doesn't work like that. You've got to, there's minimums. So he said, well, what's the minimum? The minimum was like several thousand bottles, right, to get this stuff actually manufactured and produced. So he said, well, shoot, I'm either going to have to give up on this, or I guess I got to go ahead and get a brand created and bring a product to market. So long story short, he went and hired a local agency down here in Delray Beach, an advertising agency, to build a brand for him. I was not working there at the time. I was at a different agency. I came to this agency shortly after they built his brand. He took the brand and just went off on his own. And his plan was just, like I said, he wanted it for himself. He put it on the shelf in his doctor's office. He put it on Amazon. And that's where it sat up until about a year ago. I worked at that agency, and the bottle was still around because, you know, it was still pretty fresh and it caught my eye. So I was always intrigued by it. But again, I wasn't a sunscreen wearer. I didn't like the stuff, but I worked there 5-6 years. So I started learning more and more about it. I got to really understand what the story was. I was like, man, there's a unique angle there. There's definitely a need for this. It's the fact that it doesn't already exist blew my mind. And then it does exist. So why are we not telling this story? And then when I finally tried it one day, and like I said a minute ago, the stuff couldn't tell I was wearing sunscreen. So as soon as we got to that point, I reached out to Dr. Balshi and I asked him, hey, why are you so content to just leave this on the side? And like I said, it wasn't something, he wasn't looking for additional revenue. It was just a pet project that he wanted. And I just said, you're crazy, man, because you got a winner. And to let it sit in your office and not share it with the rest of the world, or at least make an attempt to, is nuts. So I just asked if, we could give it a shot, and he gave me the opportunity, and here we are.
So what's you kind of went into this a little bit. What's the biggest difference in your mind between Jacket and everybody else in the market? You've said it's not like anything else. What is the biggest difference that you see with this brand?
Well, the absolute difference, and the patent on it, is there is no other formula in existence that will smooth wrinkles and fade dark spots. No other sunscreen that can do that. So that is officially the difference, right? I mean, there's a lot of other sunscreens that are SPF 50. There's a lot that are broad spectrum. There's a lot that are water and sweat resistant up to 80 minutes. Yes. This does all of that. Officially, the patented formula says there's nobody else that does what this does in terms of reversing the premature aging and the reparative elements that it has. And then for my own personal testimony, I'm yet to find a sunscreen that feels as good as this, or doesn't feel like you have it on. That's legit. That what took me from saying, hey, you should do something with this to, hey, can I help you do something with this? Because I actually believe in it. I mean, my background was not sales. It wasn't sunscreen. Like I said, you couldn't find a picture of me. I'm 46. Good luck finding a picture of me between the age of 18 and 40 where I'm not sunburned. I just hated the stuff. And who knows? There's probably hell to pay down the road, right? But
I'm the same way.
Yeah, most of us are, especially guys. We're knuckleheads. We think, I remember in my 20s, I had to come into work on a Monday just absolutely cooked. And I'd have a boss. I remember his name was Joe. He said, man, you're going to get skin cancer. And I said, well, you got to die of something. Right. That was literally my mentality. And I think a lot of guys, and I'm meeting a lot of girls too, but a lot of guys definitely are, we're a little slow to pick up on that. And now that I'm getting a little bit older, I realize how foolish that is. And especially with something like this, because look, you want to lose weight, you got to, if you want to get healthier, you got to change your diet, change your lifestyle. You want to get stronger, you got to go to the gym. It's this program you're doing. Major lifestyle changes. This, you want to decrease your odds of getting skin cancer and possibly losing your life or having all kinds of problems. You put a pea-sized amount of something in your hand, you rub it on your face, on your arms, and off you go, right? But again, was I willing to sacrifice the discomfort that I felt? No, to me, I was like, yeah, I'll die someday anyway. It might as well be this. I don't want to feel like this all day. Well, now there's a sunscreen that doesn't feel that way. So for me, that's the differentiator. But the actual unique factor is the anti-aging stuff that nobody else has.
Well, I mean, this is perfect because I mean, I was a lifeguard for many years, and so in Florida and South Carolina, even in New Jersey, I was a lifeguard, and I was a swimmer my whole life. And I'm not a fan of sunscreen. I don't like the way that it feels on my skin. I don't like the way I got to find one that's like jacket. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything at all. And also being a golfer, this is when you really need it too. And even when I go skiing now, I need something like that. So jacket's the perfect thing. And we're getting older too. I'm around the same age as you are, and it's as I'm getting older, that anti-aging is not going to be that bad either. So added bonus.
Yeah, we'll all appreciate that at some point, but even if you don't, just the fact that we say it's comfort and confidence without compromise, right? You can feel good. Yep. You can go out there knowing you're protected, and you don't have to feel greasy and oily, because that's the other thing. It's not an oily or greasy. It's not an oil-based sunscreen, so that's what allows it to be that lightweight and kind of not have that. I always say most sunscreens too. This doesn't smell. I would say it's like a combination of, sorry, but pee and pina coladas basically are what these things smell like.
I gotta try it. I mean, when you say that, I'm gonna try it. So.
It's really, a lot of people say it doesn't smell at all. Other people say it's got a light, refreshing lemongrass scent. I'll be honest, I don't know what lemongrass smells like, but this does have lemon in it. So, if
they're not wrong.
If they smell it, they're probably onto something, but it doesn't smell like your typical sunscreen. You can wear it. You don't even know you have it on. And, it's like you said, for golf, we've really identified 3 key verticals that we want to go after. And golf is number 1 on the list. Number 2 is fishing, boating, and 3 is the racket sports. And when I say go after, I don't mean we just want to take advantage of a market. I just see those are people that are out in the sun all the time. If you play golf, you're out there at least 4 hours. You're probably playing a couple times a week. You've been playing for several years, and then you're on the driving range, you're doing this, that. And if you're a golfer, you're probably outdoors for other stuff. And we're people that maybe take for granted that, I'm in a golf cart, or I can find shade, or I just don't like the way it feels when I'm out there. So we neglect it. And it's just, and I'm as guilty as anybody, right? I mean, I'm not on a soapbox here. It's just, I finally found something that, as dumb as it was, I said, okay, it was worth the risk. Well, now it's not, because there's something that eliminates the risk.
So just a couple comments from Instagram here. Jacket Sunscreen is a great name / brand. And then summer didn't start without a good sunburn.
That's true.
And so
approach
that's gonna lead into our next question. And Keith, skin cancer, and it hits close to home. My dad had multiple cells removed from his skin. I know this isn't really jacket related, but everybody in this industry is going to talk about it. Why is it important to use sunblock?
That's the easiest question I've ever got. So skin cancer is by far the most common cancer. In fact, 1 in 5 Americans are going to get it in their lifetime. Skin cancer is more common than all other cancers combined. Every single one of them. It's also the most easily preventable. I mean, now look, ultraviolet rays are by far the greatest contributing factor to skin cancer. There are others, there's others, right? And nobody can tell you that wearing sunscreen gives you 0% chance of skin cancer. That's not the case, but it significantly decreases it. Now, if you wear it, the American Academy of Dermatology says if you wear it as recommended, which is an SPF 30 every day as part of your daily skincare routine. SPF 30, broad spectrum. You guys probably know what that means, but it means it protects against both UVA and UVB. UVA rays are what contribute to the aging elements like the wrinkles and things like that. UVB is what'll burn, right? And they both contribute to skin cancer. If you wear it the way it's recommended, it significantly decreases your risk of skin cancer. In fact, melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer, if you wear it as recommended, sunscreen is recommended, cuts your risk literally in half, 50%. So if you went up to anybody other than the younger me, I guess, on the street and said, if you could cut your cancer risk in half, would you do it? I mean, I can't imagine, again, other than young Keith, anybody that would be dumb enough to say, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? And this does that. And like we talked about a minute ago, it's literally just putting a dab of this stuff on your face every day, maybe on your arms. and going. There's no significant lifestyle changes here. And Steve, it's personal to you, but it's personal again. 20% of people in the U.S. are going to get it. People that live in the area that you and I live in Florida, or all of us that are doing activities outdoors, whether it be fishing, golfing, whatever. Obviously, the more you're exposed to it, the greater your risk, right? So we're at 20% now, but I would imagine, I don't have the numbers here, but golfers are probably much higher than 20%. People that live in Florida are probably much higher than 20%. So we're all going to be impacted, whether it's us directly or people in our lives. And again, the most common cancer by a mile, and also by a mile, the easiest to avoid. So why is it important? I mean, I don't know. There it is. Because it's ridiculous not to.
Yep. So other things that are important to us, I mean, we're the golfing dads here. And I mean, my wife hates that, like, I'm one that I burn a little bit and then all of a sudden it turns into a tan for the rest of the summer. I love it, but she hates that she doesn't have that ability. And my son got her skin tone, so I got to lather him up with so much sunscreen. So is jacket safe for kids to use?
Yeah. So in general, rule of thumb is no child under 6 months of age should wear sunscreen at all, whether it's jacket or pick your lotion, right? Whatever. But yeah, it is. I mean, it's a clean ingredient deck. There's no toxic, oxybenzone's a big one. It's a clean deck. So it's safe for children. I mean, it really is. There's nothing in it that would be harmful to children, to anybody else. Dr. Balshi, who I mentioned, the creator of this, created it for his family. He has 5 children. They wear it. I have 2 children. They wear it. Everybody in my family, obviously, guess what they got for Christmas last year, man? A lot of kids, and they all wear it. So, I mean, it's absolutely safe for children. It's safe for people with sensitive skin as well. And, again, it all comes back to the ingredients that are in here. It's dermatologist developed, and this is a guy who understands it. I asked him, back up to a question a second ago, Steve, you had asked, why is it important? So when I first met Dr. Balshi, kind of when we started this venture, I said to her, you're a dermatologist. I said, honest, just me and him in the room. And I said, if people truly wore sunscreen as recommended, what would that do to you as a dermatologist? And his answer was, it would put me out of business. Now, I'm sure there's a little bit of creative liberties there, but the reality is, I mean, the impact is significant enough that, he'd probably have to find this thing would have to take off to supplement that income that he's losing. So that's the importance of it. But back to the kids, Greg, it really is a clean deck, safe for the kids, safe for people with sensitive skin or other conditions. It is non-comedogenic, which nobody, including myself, knew what that meant until I got involved with this. It means it won't clog pores. Again, it's not an oil-based sunscreen either, so there's not that greasiness that's, if you have oily skin, you don't want a sunscreen that's going to be greasy and that's going to, do that. It doesn't do that. Also, the ingredients, a lot of them have hydrating and moisturizing properties. So people with dry skin, it's a winner for them too. It truly is. It checks every box, guys. And I know I'm paid to say that, but I mean, it's true, man.
Well, that's the thing we always love when someone comes on here and has a passion about their product because they truly believe in it. And like you said back when you were younger, you were like me. You didn't put on sunscreen, and now you have a product that younger you would have been like, damn, I wish I had this when I was younger. So
absolutely. And it's true. The passion but another thing we say is passion, purpose, performance. For me personally, Dr. Balshi's been doing this his whole life. He obviously cares about this, and for a lot of different reasons. For me personally, I had zero desire to ever get involved in any kind of sales I despise salesmen, to be honest with you, Red. I don't like being sold to. I hate selling to people. I never in a million years thought I would be doing something like this for a living, but I actually came across a product that literally everybody on this planet needs, and it's better. Again, it's all subjective, but it's better than anything out there. And if you can go out and make that kind of impact, I mean, I know maybe this is going to sound a little cheesy. We're talking about sunscreen, but the reality is, like, this gives you the opportunity to impact, change, and save lives
100%.
Through selling a product. So yeah, I do have passion. I also had a grandmother that died from melanoma several years back. So, and that even wasn't enough to compel me to wear sunscreen. My mom's had stuff, also. So, you'd think that alone would be enough to wake me up, but it wasn't. I just had to come across something that I was like, yeah, this stuff actually does what it says it does. And it's like I said, it does what any other sunscreen in the world does, but there's no other sunscreen in the world that does what Jacket does. And
so, Keith, let me. We got a question on Instagram that I want to ask and make sure we get out there. And it's from Rob, and Rob asks, my wife's dermatologist mentioned that anything over SPF 50 is just a slogan. Is that true?
Anything over it, basically. So, and this is a 50 plus, which, but here's what it is. An SPF 50, that 50 SPF factor means it blocks 98% of ultraviolet rays. 98, and there's nothing in the world, including clothing, that blocks 100%. So you're saying a 50 blocks 98. Now, if you have a 75 or 100, don't be fooled. A lot of people probably think that 100 means it blocks 100%. It doesn't. Maybe it blocks 98.2, right? It's all negligible. I mean, there's really nothing above 98. So Rob is spot on. And even so, we have a spray. Right now, we only have this lotion, but we have a spray that we just got the patent for as well. That'll be out in May or June of this year. And that's going to be an SPF 30. And the SPF 30 blocks 95%. Is it 93 or 95%? I don't, but it just kind of shows you how the scale works, right? So, yeah, if it's a 50, you're blocking 98%, and I don't care. You can go up to SPF 5,000. It's not going to do much more.
It's just a number at that point.
It really is a number because people, it's marketing, right? It's oh, you have 100. Oh, perfect. And cool. I'm nothing against it. You want to rock SPF 100, go for it. But it's not going to. You're not getting any more benefit than you would out of a 50.
So if we're on the golf course, and how often do you recommend that we reapply, or is this like a set it and forget it, or how often should we be using this product throughout the day?
It says right on the bottle, look, like anybody else, put it on 15 minutes before exposure and reapply every 2 hours or immediately after swimming, towel drying, excessive sweating. So look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to do that. I'll tell you my personal testimony. When I go out in the sun, whether it's to play golf, whether it's fishing, I even run a lot, right? I put it on and I go, and I don't reapply at all. And I haven't had any issues. And other people I talk to say the same thing. Now, there's also, everybody's different, maybe a little trial and error and also a little common sense. I mean, if you're just out there sweating buckets for 45 minutes and you can just see the sunscreen coming off, you probably should dry down a little bit and reapply. But I personally haven't had to do that. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys in your audience that it's a one and done, put it on and you're good for the day. I mean, everybody's different, but yeah, it can wear off. But okay. It's good. It a little bit goes a long way. And if you put it on, the other thing I will tell you, really do put it on 15 minutes before you go out if you can help it. And the only reason I say that, not because of the protection element, like it'll still hold, but a few times I've put it on like 15 minutes and you start sweating less than 15 minutes. It's running in your eyes. It doesn't burn as bad as others, but it'll still run. You wait 15, 20 minutes, you can sweat as much as you want. That stuff's not going anywhere. That's
good to know. I'm one that's like, my wife is at home. If we're driving to like a pool or going to the beach, she's at home putting it on our son, and I'm the one like, I'll do it when I get there. So that's good to know there's a good reason behind doing it 15 minutes before.
It's true. I mean, it really will. It just kind of, I think it just soaks in a little bit more, and yeah, I mean, it definitely holds better. And the cool thing is you put it on, it stays. But another unique feature about Jacket is it won't give you that. Again, now, unless you put ungodly amounts on, but if you put like a normal amount of sunscreen, you're not going to get that white residue or that, clown face that a lot of these sunscreens give you. So it'll stay on and you still won't know you have it on.
I appreciate that.
Try it, man. And the fact that it's zinc too, I don't know if I mentioned that too. It is zinc enriched, antioxidant enriched. So what makes zinc important, not to bore you guys too much, what zinc does, that's the protective element. So what that does, it actually reflects ultraviolet rays, whereas a lot of the other protective ingredients that in the non-zinc sunscreens, what they do, they'll absorb and then try to disperse the ultraviolet rays as opposed to just reflecting them, So obviously, if you're reflecting it and repelling these things, that's better than letting it soak in and hope you're deflecting enough, to other parts of the skin to not do damage.
So funny. Brad, I'm just gonna say it. Just say drink. I'm caddying tomorrow at Bay Hill, and I did last year as well. And we were one of the guys in our group was actually the retired CEO of the Mayo Clinic. And he reapplied like every 4 holes while we were out there. And it was Florida. It was March. It was hot. It was a warm day out there. And so it was interesting to see someone who obviously very educated on this when it comes to matters of sunscreen as the former CEO of the Mayo Clinic, see him interact with that. Let me ask you this, and we talk about this. You mentioned earlier that it has an anti-aging formula. Does it really work? And I'm asking this personally on this because I just want to make sure that it's going to make me keep looking young. Thanks, Craig, for that.
if you're listening on Apple and Spotify right now, I'm just making a side eye face at Steve for that.
You were the after picture. You look great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you had the blur filter, and you look. Here's the deal. There's 7. Well, there's many ingredients in here, but there are 7 exclusive that give it the patent. Those 7 ingredients, and I won't get into them all. If y'all ever want to have me back on, we can talk about it, or I can email you. You can even find it on our website, jacketsunscreen.com. I should probably be able to land that plane. It's got all 7 of the ingredients those ingredients that specifically address the anti-aging. It tells you exactly what they do and how they do it. Now, look, this is not a magic pill. It's not a magic wand. You're not going to put this on 2 or 3 times and all of a sudden your wrinkles gone and your dark spots are gone and you look 20 years younger. But if you're somebody especially if you're somebody that is going to make sunscreen, which we all should, and look, I know we don't, but we are, including myself at times, every day you're putting this on. I mean, you're having it on 9, 10, 12, 15 hours a day. It's working, right? But the reality is if you're somebody that's already investing in your skincare and you're interested in this, put it on and it's going to work and it's going to supplement the other products. But again, I'm not trying to tell people it's an eraser. It's not an eraser, but these ingredients are proven. And, again, the patent, you don't just get it because you ask for it. There's testing involved. And they have to say it does what you claim it does. And Jacket does that. But again, if someone wears it for 2 weeks, I hope I don't get angry emails saying this stuff doesn't work. Like it works, but it's
Steve's
not.
Steve's going to call you tomorrow when he doesn't look like a 15-year-old after he puts it on at Bay Hill. He's going to be like, this didn't make me look 20 years younger.
Maybe in 15 years you'll still look like you do now. I don't know if we're going to how far.
Hey, Greg, I'll just say this. I'll FaceTime both of you. Okay, we'll do that. I'll do it as a FaceTime.
Right. That's what I want to see tomorrow.
Keith, before we let you go, Keith, I have a question, and the question kind of ties into what our online guests are asking. Our question is, where can they find you? But the question online is it available at any retailers, and what's the price direct to consumer?
All right. So right now, the best way to find it is jacketsunscreen.com. And the retail on it is $29.99. Now, if you go to the website, if you sign up, you register, you subscribe, you get 20% off your first order. We are in the early stages of building out a retail program. We're available in some places here locally. And now we are absolutely branching out and scaling. So there are some retail locations, but they're few and far between. We're only, a couple really weeks, maybe months into that approach. So if you're looking for brick and mortar retail, I can get you a list and you can share it with folks. But the easiest way right now is jacketsunscreen.com.
Nice.
And it's available on Amazon and, but if you're going to go online, we'd obviously prefer you get it directly from our website than on Amazon, but nothing against Amazon. They're doing a great job, but we think our site's pretty good too.
You do have a great site. I will say that. It's easy to navigate and gives great information and really shows off the product. So very well done site. Appreciate
it, Greg. And there are a few other products on there too. Just, again, I'm not going to turn this into an infomercial here at the end, but we have the SPF 50 sunscreen on there. There's also a lip balm that's SPF 15. There's a hydrating serum, like an after sun care. There's a
You mean
college.
that one right there? You mean that
That's
one
the one. Yep. SPF
right
peptide collagen cream, and then, like I said, the SPF 30 spray that'll be here in May or June will also be available. And I mean, it's all on there.
Perfect. Well, Keith,
thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. I'm glad we got you on as quickly as we did, especially as the PGA Tour starts the swing through the Sunshine State and runs into the Masters, which is really the official start of spring. Everybody can be prepared and have their jacket, sunscreen ready to go. So thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time out. And by the way, I love the spear behind you.
Another thing cool about it, you mentioned the Sunshine State. So jacket is another thing. Is born and bottled in the Sunshine State. It is all it's all mixed here in South Florida, mixed and bottled. It's not foreign. It's all done not only U.S. but it's a Florida company. It's a Florida brand. It's a Florida product. And again, having a doctor behind it who is also an avid and a good golfer. I'd love to get you guys out there. At least you, Steve. I know you're a little more local. Dr. Ball, she's a heck of a golfer. So he understands it from the medical side and also from the user functionality side. I mean, it's designed by a guy who not only understands the importance of it, but also understands what he's looking for and what we're all looking for out there and what we demand in the sunscreen. So I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always
we'll have to set something up. You and I have a mutual friend in common, and we'll have to set something up, and maybe I'll get together and play some golf. So I love that idea.
Sounds good to me, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Keith.
Cheers.
Man, that was a good interview.
It was. I mean, I love, like I said, when we have people on the show that are passionate about what they do and the products that they have, it just makes it so much easier to show people the great products that they have. And if you're,
I'm really surprised you didn't put this up there.
I thought about it, but I mean, I also thought about, I'm just going to say this. If someone just was looking at our show and never saw anything, they're like, hey, let me read the comments. All the comments tonight are drink. Like you would think we were chugging on this show, like at a frat party doing a keg stand. I mean, when was the last time you heard keg stand on the show? But back to that, Keith.
And not from Dave.
Keith, thank you for being on here. Thank you for what you do. Your product is important, so go out there, check them out, get some jacket sunscreen for your next round of golf. All right, let's get into Smack of the Week. Get in that right mindset.
Get in that right mindset. So this week's Smack of the Week is I don't know how to say this. I think the script on the screen is going to say enough of it. So we'll just leave it at this.
No, we're not going outside.
Kid knows.
He knows.
Like, I mean, that's how we all are. When you just want to get out and golf with the boys. Like, sometimes you just got to get out of the house.
Let's hop into the last call and start with recapping what happened down in South Florida this week.
Oh yeah. I had the best pick out of all of us.
You did.
And Dave finally missed a cut.
Finally. I don't know that it really let either of us back in.
No, I mean, he's still so far ahead. We're going to need, we know who he's picking this week.
Right.
So hopefully he'll get back here with us in a few moments. He's got some dad duties to take care of, like all of us tonight. So we are the golfing dads, and always comes up. But what an exciting week again,
man,
on the PGA Tour.
We talked about Mexico a week ago and just how great that event was with Brian Campbell winning in the playoff that happened in Mexico. You had everything last weekend at the Cognizant.
Oh yeah.
You had a guy shoot 59 on Thursday in Jake Knapp. you had a guy who, in Jake Knapp, tried to play a ball out of the water on Sunday, which
You had
turned
two
out to be
guys
disaster.
in Jordan and Ricky trying to play their ways into this week, to
Into
try and
Bay
play their
Hill.
ways into the Masters.
And then you have and then you have a guy who makes the cut on the number, literally, goes out and shoots 64 on Saturday. And the best story of the whole thing was Kevin Kisner talking about, you know, his mom was, I was at breakfast at Player Dining with his mom today, and she said she was going to hang around as long as she had to flight out. She had to leave at 3 to catch a flight. But if he made a move up the leaderboard, she was going to stay. And she stayed.
Yeah.
And watched her son shoot 64-64 Saturday, Sunday with Joe LaCava the fourth on the bag, and walk away with his first PGA Tour win, gets into the Masters, gets into the Players, gets into Bay Hill.
Back to back. So we have a three-peat of that trend going on here. You realize that?
Correct.
So
Correct.
If you're telling me that these other events that aren't signature events that are out there are not important, are not exciting, are not, then you are not a golf fan. You are not watching golf. You are not, like we said in first round. We talked about happy hour or first round, and we talked about full swing. And now in happy hour, we're telling the stories of full swing here. This is why we watch golf, is for stories like this.
Right.
Don't shorten fields. Don't do, like, you can have live and be this group of golfers over there. That's great and fine. But I want to see these golfers making the Masters, because now the Masters, I think, is going to be so exciting with these players that if one of them has an amazing round that they got in to the Masters for that, think about how that story is going to look. And we talked about it this week. Your pick this week, the hometown amateur, had a hell of a week. Like, that's another story out here that he was just, Luke Clanton was going crazy out there.
At one point, well, I mean, makes the cut, and then you can see the emotion when he makes the cut. And again, you can't help but not feel good for the dude, because he is literally just, you know,
he's a Florida State guy, right? Like, he went to Florida State.
He's a Florida State guy. Yeah. Keith is still down watching here.
That's why I made the
he's doing the tomahawk.
100%.
But you know, he makes the cut, gets his tour card, can't turn pro until after the NCAAs.
Yep.
And when you look at where he has come, you know, you look at what Ludwig has done, doing basically the same thing.
Nick Dunlap. Look at
Nick Dunlap. Well, Nick Dunlap won as an amateur, so a little different.
But no, but I'm saying, as the amateur, these amateurs are coming out of college, doing this while still in college, and doing great things like this. Like, Nick Dunlap actually won as an amateur, and then had a good season too, and has been doing good since then. But I'm looking at this, and I see Luke Clanton, I see Nick Dunlap in him. Like, I do.
Correct.
That's where I think this is just so exciting to see all of these stories. And these are the stories we want to tell here on the Golfing Dads Tavern, is the golfers that are out there grinding, having a good time, doing this for the love of the game, and doing amazing things.
I'm trying to pull up the
odds with Steve.
Odds with Steve is what I'm trying to do. And so we could talk Bay Hill this week. You know, I think the other thing that you look at when you look at the last 3 weeks on tour, is you have this. There's been a lot of talk of shrinking fields down. There's been a lot of talk of
let's just say no,
not giving as many tour cards. I watched the last week. I watched the last week on the last 3 weeks. When you look at that and you say to yourself, why do we want to do that? The storylines are so great. When you look at what's going on with all of these players that are getting these wins or getting their card for the next 2 years, and are going to be out there playing and competing, man, I'm excited about the future of the PGA Tour.
I really am. I agree with you. You're watching these players that every week are doing these amazing things, like Brian Campbell in Mexico, winning, going cut, and then winning and making the Masters and having this great run, which is fantastic. Yep. You have it again this week with multiple people. Joe this week doing that. Like, this is what's exciting about this. Like, I love watching, don't get me wrong, I love watching the majors. I love watching these big events. I love watching the best players in the world, but I love also watching those players that are going to become the next best players in the world, or these players that have these stories. Like the same reason we love Gary Woodland's story on Full Swing. That it just, you see the passion they put into this game and the love that they play this game for is why we do what we do on the Golfing Dads Tavern. And
I'm gonna say
picks
this.
Up a stick does that.
I'm gonna say this. When Gary Woodland wins again, because he's going to win again.
Oh, 100%.
Say it. When Gary Woodland wins again, if you tell me you're not crying when he wins,
you're not a golf fan.
You're not a golf fan.
No,
you're not a golf fan.
All right, let's get into odds with Steve here.
Odds with Steve. Here we go.
Brought to you by Nikon, the official rangefinder of the LPGA Tour and the Golfing Dads Tavern.
So, yes.
I find it funny that this odds with Dave, and I just got on my Apple Watch. Like, you know how you have your friends and you can see what, like when they finish like working out, or they have Dave closed all his rings. So he's doing his dad things by chasing his kid around the house, but he closed all his rings. So he's getting healthier there in Iowa.
Okay, so the least surprising thing this week at Bay Hill, Scotty Scheffler's the favorite.
Dave's pick, by the way. So since Dave's not here, we'll just go into the picks there. Dave's pick right there, Scotty Scheffler. It's already written down.
He is going off just over 3-1. Rory is second. That's Steve's pick. He's 7.5 to 1.
So let's just go into my pick next. I'm going Ludwig Oberg. So
he's third on the list.
There we go. So we're going 1.
He's 16 to 1.
There we go.
He's going off at 16 to 1. Xander is also off at 16 to 1. Xander will be back playing on the PGA Tour this week after battling his injury. Hideki is at 25 to 1. Funny story. I heard a story this week. Greg, have you played Bella Collina?
Yes, many times.
Okay, do you know what the course record is at Bella Collina from the back tees?
57.
No. Back tees, it's 8,000 yards. That golf.
Dude, if someone shot 57 there, they went like, I don't believe them.
Yeah. So the course record from the back tees is 67.
I was only off by 10.
Guess who shot it?
Hideki. I'm just going
Hideki. He's a member there.
So.
Justin Thomas.
By the way, if you haven't played that course, the phenomenal course out in Florida, looks like a Tuscan Italian village. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and the golf course is unbelievable.
And it'll drive you insane, that golf course, by the way.
Yeah, well, no flat lies.
No.
Justin Thomas is 28 to 1. Patrick Cantley 30 to 1. Tommy Fleetwood 35 to 1. Let's go down the list. The Ryder Cup captain is 55 to 1. Tony Finau 60 to 1.
Justin Rose. Sponsors exemption.
Funny, he has a MasterCard logo on his jacket and he's a sponsors exemption. I'm shocked by that.
I know. Also, another guy in Full Swing you were rooting for.
Right. He is not on the odds list on this in front of me here.
Well, I will say, with all of these odds, you got our picks in this week. Steve, what are you looking forward to most at Bay Hill this week? And you can't say putting on your jacket sunscreen.
I mean, I can. I'm kind of excited about that tomorrow. You know, when I look at Bay Hill, and Greg, we've both been to the golf tournament. We understand what it's like to be out on that golf course.
Been to the golf tournament, played the golf course.
Yeah, both of us have.
Yeah.
Bay Hill is one of those events that you know what I'm actually looking forward to the most, and I will tell you this right now. I sent you the picture of it. I sent it to Dave also.
17.
The changes to 17. I don't even know where to begin with what they've done. They've almost made with the grandstand there. They've almost made 17 an island green. And they moved the they got rid of the front right bunker that ran down into the water. It's a very Mike Strand's bunker, funny enough. It ran down into the water. And they made the bunker, they made it a mounding. They brought the water out in front of the green more. They shrunk the green down a little bit so you don't have that tongue sitting out on the far right-hand side. And it just looks like, again, they're going to play it at probably 225. And the average golfer should never play the hole from back there because
you'll be dropping your second shot after you hit your first.
Good luck. Hit 3 wood and hope, because that's what you're going to need to do. And so to look at what these guys have to play in this golf course, I think, there are parts on that golf course when you look around that golf course that you see rough on 8, on left on 8, that is just death. If you get it off the fairway at Bay Hill, you're going to have to just it's gouge and just put a wedge in your hand. So I think that's the most exciting thing to me. Everybody else, it's going to be a fun tournament. It always picks a good winner. The winner is always tested. So I'm looking forward to it. Let's hope Mother Nature cooperates tomorrow. Everybody can get 18 holes in on the Pro-Am, and we'll go from there. So,
well, with that, cheers, everybody. Thank you to Keith.
Thanks, Keith.
I'm really fortunate, man. I mean, having an opportunity to build something that's
somebody was commenting about playing Whistling Straits for 700